Testing, testing. Is everyone able to hear me? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you guys are. Doing a quick sound check, a video check, if everyone's able to see me and hear me clearly. Chaos, nice to see you tune in. Yamilu, nice to see you tune in nice and early. All right, good stuff, good stuff. Hey, David, I'm good. Thanks for asking. We moved the webinar to be 1 hour earlier, right? So that after some feedback that we got from you guys, right? So it's 4 a.m. here in Singapore. Yeah, the timing is amazing. The timing is amazing. I just watched I just watched the Manchester United versus Nottingham. Right, I think that's Nottingham match. Yeah, it went pretty well. Right, so at least I was able to get some proper sleep after that match. All good stuff, man. Good stuff. I understand that for most people, it could be it's probably a Easter Sunday. All right, so we might have slightly less people here today, depending on the because some countries are celebrating. I think it's the unorthodox Easter Sunday this weekend, right? Yes, I'm a football lover. Marondera, nice to see you too. Right, we should expect a slightly smaller turnout today, right? Because it is Easter Sunday in a few different countries, right? So, but anyway, right? Today's session we're gonna focus on again the pre-market live analysis. Right, it's gonna focus on good stuff, right? Some of the key calls that we made, right? How they turned out, right? And then what we can look out for the week ahead. All right. Right, Peter, nice to see you tune in. Right, from Kenya, good stuff, man, good stuff. Right, so give me a second. I think I heard some sounds somewhere. I think my cat is playing with like my kid toys or something. All right, Slovenia, nice to see you. Okay, good stuff. Nice to see you here. Okay. Anyway, let's begin today's session. Right, yeah, it's thanks for tuning in, guys. Nice and early, right? Today's webinar is our weekly pre-market live analysis, right? So what we do is we look at the key news events for the week ahead, right? And what I realized is that I need to tweak. Yeah, okay, my network is correct. Yeah. We look at the key news events for the week ahead, and we look at the key technical setups for the week ahead too. All right. Oh, from South Africa, good stuff, man. Good stuff. All right. So yeah, so we're gonna look for the key technical setup for the week ahead too. All right. We will review the analysis, the forecast that we did last week. This is something which I always hold ourselves responsible to. Right. It's important to look at what we did previously, what we're forecasting today. Right. So that every week it's you can't run away from what you forecasted last week. All right. Okay, let's begin today's session. All right, so disclaimer as usual. Remember, everything in this webinar is educational in nature. Nothing should be construed as investment or trading advice, so please do your own little due diligence before you guys trade. Okay, now let's move on to the agenda for today. We're going to look at some of the few key news events to watch out for. Right, I tend to just highlight them on what's happening. Sorry, just give me just notice my cat running around creating. So if you hear some background sounds, just my cat running around. Okay. But yeah, so I'm just gonna highlight some key news events. Same thing as usual, guys. Remember the key news events are not we don't necessarily have a forecast on them all the time. Right, we know that they're going to occur, right? These are the key volatile news events to watch out for. Okay, some of them we have a slight bias, some of them not, right? But I'll highlight to you what are the ones to look out for. I'm going to look at some analysis on the major markets. Okay, right? Some of the I usually look at the FX majors, gold, oil, right, and the key indices like the S&P, NASDAQ. So if you have requests on them, please send them through. Okay, I want to encourage you guys that I literally have another screen open over here, right? Monitoring the questions that you guys have. So if you have any requests, let me know. I'll do my best to attend to them. Okay. And for those of you guys who are here for the first time, introducing your host for today, right? My name is Desmond Leong, some external analyst here at IC Markets, right? We've been doing the webinars for I think 2 or 3 years already. Okay, so I run the award-winning research firm Everest Fortune Group and also the Forex Army, right? Finalists for 2019, 2020, and 2021 for Best FX, Best Equity Research. And we usually work with many of the major financial institutions to help them forecast on where the markets are heading. But we have a special partnership with IC Markets where we are bringing you guys the good stuff, the juicy stuff, the stuff that take a trading to the next level, right? If you have been following our webinars, our live trading sessions for the better part of these past few years, you would have noticed that we have a good, pretty good hit rate. I think I dare say about a 70% hit rate on most of our forecasts, right? I will share as I am sharing my analysis with you, right? I do encourage you to take a look at how I break down each analysis, right? Because there's a theory, you teach someone to fish or you give someone the fish, right? So we are doing both, right? We're doing both here at IC Markets. We teach you guys the good stuff and at the same time we give you the analysis for the week. But I do want to encourage you to take note of my approach to doing analysis, because when you want to analyze your own markets, right, maybe on the lower time frames or some of the other instruments or instruments that we haven't analyzed, right, knowing how I break down the analysis is very useful, right? Knowing how I do a top-down approach to find the key setup levels is very useful. Okay. As a rule of thumb, I usually analyze just one time frame down and one time frame up, right? Meaning that if I'm trading the 4-hour charts, I will look at the 1-day charts and the 1 hour. If I'm trading the 1-day charts, divide by 4, almost, you can get about 4-hour charts. You times 4, you got 4 or 5, about a 1-week chart. Okay. So that's my rule of thumb, just I divide by 4 and multiply by 4, just to give yourself a good gauge. Okay. What you don't want to do, right? What you don't want to do is you don't want to get into what I call analysis paralysis, right? Meaning, you jump too many time frames. Okay, your view on the 1-day time frame isn't going to affect your view on the 1-minute time frame. Okay, the charts are just too far apart, right? The time frames are too far apart. Okay, so sometimes you have to keep a watch on yourself not to dive too deep into that. Okay, so if you're doing the 1-day time frame, go down to the 4 hours time frame is good enough. All right, if you're analyzing the 4-hour time frame, go down to 1-hour time frame for entries is good enough. All right, don't get too caught up looking at every single time frame there is. This is one thing you'll notice in our analysis today. All right. Now, all right, so let's begin today's session, right? Let's begin today's session. I always use TradingView. It's I guess you can look at 1-day, 4-hour, and 1 hour, right? It is okay, right? So that is usually look for the key levels. I will show you an example of this in a bit. Okay. Now, my favorite site to look for, right, is of course Forex Factory. This is the site I use for most of my key news events. This Forex Factory. Economic calendar. Yeah, it's weird that it pull up a weird thing. Yeah, the economic calendar. These are the key news events that I feel like is worth keeping an eye out on, right? Guys, in today's live pre-market analysis, if you have questions not only on the markets but on the approach to analyzing, technical analysis, right, feel free to ask me too, right? I'll do my best to explain the concepts to them, to you guys. All right. I guess the Empire State Manufacturing Index, it is a key indicator of manufacturing activity in New York. All right, the previous value of negative 24.16, right? It kind of showed that what this negative 24.16 shows that there's a pretty big decline in manufacturing. All right. The forecasted data of negative 17.7, suggests that even though it's still in a decline, there's some level of recovery. So what we want to look out for in the actual forecast, right? So if the actual forecast does what's the word for it? Falls below this negative 17 or above this negative 17, that's the key thing that we want to look out for, right? So if it's falls below, it's very, very straightforward. It's falls below, it means that manufacturing activity is dropping. It means that the USD will weaken. All right, so just keep a lookout for this. I think on Monday, this is the only key news event for us to watch out for. Okay, on Tuesdays, some of the worth noting claimant count changes, right? This is basically high. If more people are claiming unemployment benefits, it basically think about it, right? More people claim unemployment benefits. It shows that there's weakness in the labor market, and then it can lead to reduced economic growth and GBP dropping. So this is what you want to take note of. Claimant count change is basically a number of people, right, who are claiming unemployment benefits. Okay, so we always try to look at things logically. If it's improving or it's deproving. So if there's a lot of people who are claiming, right, a lot more people are claiming, that means GBP probably weaken. Okay, CPI, don't need any explanations behind it. Measure of inflation. Yeah, the CAD CPI is going to be the CAD CPI is due on Tuesday. Keep a lookout on it. Okay, that's definitely what we want to look out for. Wednesday, GBP CPI. That's probably the only thing that I would really look out for on Wednesday, right? I mean, it just kind of show the inflation figures again, right? So just keep a lookout for that. I can't forecast the actual result, right? I can't forecast the actual result, but basically all you need to know is that if the actual figure is lower, right, it's going to hurt the GBP. If the actual figure is better, it's going to benefit the GBP. Okay. Thursday, the two key news events, right? I mean, unemployment claims down here, right? It's the same thing, right? The same thing as we mentioned earlier, right? The higher the unemployment claims, it's basically the worse it is. All right. Kiwi inflation data on Thursday, key news event to watch out for. And lastly, Friday, you have the German flash manufacturing PMI to kind of watch out for, right? Among all of these here, yeah, maybe the USD flash manufacturing PMI and the German flash manufacturing PMI. I don't pay too much attention to the French one, all right? Those are the few key ones to kind of take a note of for this week. As you can tell, there's a fair bit of news events for this week, right? Most notably, I guess, are the CPI announcements, right? So keep a lookout on this. There's going to be volatility for this week for sure. And how we're going to position ourselves, right? We, especially when we're trading on the H4 charts, right? On the D1 charts, it does not affect us as much, right? These news events, right? Because it affects you more if you're trading on the 1 hour and the 15-minute charts. Okay. Okay, Yamil, nice to see you. Right, Ahmad, nice to see you. Oh yeah, sorry, you posted questions earlier. Diana, nice to see you. Tune in. All right, thank you to everyone who tuned into today's session. I know depending on where you are, it might be a holiday, right? It might be a holiday, or yeah, some of you guys are celebrating the unorthodox Easter Sunday, right? And it can be really late and really early depending where you are, right? About the SMC, I really want you to show us something about the SMC. I'm guessing when you say SMC is smart money concept, smart money concept, you probably want to tune into Peggy's webinar later today, right? I think it's Peggy or Cassandra that's doing the webinar later today. If I'm not wrong, it's Peggy who's doing the live trading session later today on the smart money concept. So please tune in for that. She's a lot better in it, right? Like she uses smart money concepts a lot more, right? For me, I do use a variation of it, right? It's the smarter money concept. No, I'm kidding. I do use a variation of it, right? It's using the same key levels, right? The liquidity traps, right? Fibonacci levels and stuff, right? But if you're looking more towards smart money concepts, right? Peggy, right? We'll be doing it later today. Okay, so I guess a few things that I do want to point out to you guys, right? YouTube, our channel. So you got IC Markets session later, right? So what you want to look out for upcoming live streams? Yeah, with Peggy, I'm gonna give you guys this link, right? Yes, I'm still using Nike Tick, right? Still using Nike Tick, right? Ahmad, you can check it out, right? Check out that link. So just let me get some water. Yeah, Peggy will be doing the live analysis session later, about 12 and a half, no, 13 and a half hours from now, right? So just check out the time, right? Should be doing the live analysis session, so check it out, all right? Jose Eduardo Acosta Nunes, right? Good evening, all right? Oh, from Berlin, good stuff. I hope to visit there one day, right? I hope to visit there one day, okay? Yeah, thanks for tuning in to today's session, okay? So let's begin today's session. I made a special effort, right? I made a special effort to, where's my pre-market analysis? There we go. I made a special effort to look to timestamp our previous last week's analysis and see how we did, right? I think an easy way to do this is to just full screen this, right? And I can just swipe left and right, right? I can swipe left and right. Okay, got it. So let's see. Last week, right? Let's begin today's session, right? We did a euro dollar analysis, right? Our euro dollar analysis. We forecasted with, I'm gonna make cinema mode here. We forecasted that was going to strengthen towards the 1.1023 level, right? Since then, I think euro dollar did strengthen quite nicely. Was this on the forward chart? Yeah, euro dollar did strengthen quite nicely, as you can see, right? Was this on the forward chart? I think it was on the forward chart. Right? Nah, that was on the 1 day chart, 1 day time frame. Yeah, as you can see, right? Kiwi dollar did strengthen and did touch our forecasted target. Okay, so that worked out very nicely, right, for our euro dollar analysis. We use the Elliott wave structure, right? So yes, Boschjan, I will be able to look at gold and DXY later today. In fact, yeah, DXY, euro dollar, pound dollar, and dollar franc are 4 of the first charts that I tend to look at right away. So you notice for how we managed to forecast the move on euro dollar, right, was kind of using a little bit of Elliott structure. I did notice that, as you can see over here, right, I did notice that there's a little bit of like a wave 1, wave, sorry, let me see if I can use this instead. Yeah, it's a little bit of a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5, right? So this Elliott wave structure is a more advanced concept of trading, right? I happen to be a specialist in it, right? So I tend to know how to use it quite well. It's the same thing as smart money concept. You know, these are a little bit more advanced concepts. But yeah, this is for me. This was what I used to kind of forecast that price would kind of reach there. It has reached its target, and let's see what we can look at for euro dollar. Okay, first thing I always look on the weekly time frame. Right, I always like to look at the weekly time frame to see, am I missing out on any key levels? Okay. Wow, I am. Price is not at a clear level. Price is not at a clear level, if you ask me. Right. Next key level is all the way up here. If you ask me, there's nothing that is really standing between price reaching this level. Right. Even do a Fibonacci retracement. Right. It has broken most of my key levels over here. The next key levels to look out for is all the way up here. You know, this is a 1.12 level. What I can tell is that, yeah, there is probably nothing that stands in between. Okay, so now I'll go down to the daily time frame. Looking at it over here, right? I do like the Fibonacci confluence that is happening up here. Although I do notice that there's a little bit of a overlap kind of resistance over here, right? There is a little bit of overlap resistance over here. I'm going to put this as the first resistance. All right, this is my first resistance, and the entire area where it's being attracted to is up here. Okay, nice bit of confluence up there. Yep, nice bit of confluence. We got 61.8 retracement, as you can see. 61.8 retracement, and we have a 100% projection that lines up there very, very nicely. Okay, now, so first thing I know, right? So this establishes the key level, rather the limit of my movement I can expect on euro dollar. Okay, right away I can see, all right, this is what could happen. Just let me pick this, fine tune it a bit. There we go. Sorry, just let me fine tune the level. All right, 1.1840 is the level where we can probably expect the first movement euro dollar to go. The tricky thing here for euro dollar is this. Okay, we can't tell for sure if price has broken this level. Okay, because if you draw intermediate resistance from here, it does look like price did kind of failed to break this level, right? Kind of failed to break this level. We were correct in forecasting it. If you see, we were correct in forecasting it to reach this level, but now that it has reached the level, it has reversed. Okay, let me just do a little bit of Elliott structure. Wave 1 to wave 3, down to wave 4. Where's the 61.8? It's quite far away. Well, okay, two key levels I would want to highlight for us to watch. Okay, intermediate support, intermediate resistance. So this is the important thing when it comes to trading. Sometimes you just need that little bit of confirmation from the markets to call a move. Okay, it's not every time that you're going to receive a perfect call. All right, so I'm going to highlight this as the first key support level to watch out for, right? Okay, we are seeing a little bit of Ichimoku momentum. What I'm going to forecast, what could happen is that if price is able to kind of close above the 1.1035 level, right, we should be able to see price kind of inch up towards this level over here. Okay, but if it closes below this, right, and of course I like to always take a look at the 4-hour chart. So I'm trying to fine tune my entry a bit more. Yeah, if it closes below this, right, we could expect a weakness to this level. Okay, this is our upside confirmation and this is our downside confirmation. Okay, it's in a little bit of both, so it's dangerous to call a move in either direction, right? But this is the first thing to look out for. Okay, now I did a what's the next thing I looked at? I looked at DXY. Okay, so DXY, we forecasted DXY to drop a little bit further towards the slightly below the 100.70 level. Okay, since then DXY did drop, as you can see, right? We forecasted for DXY to drop to here, right? And it has, right? It has dropped very nicely to that level, right? Exactly where we forecasted it to drop for the week. So if you were in that trade, in the euro dollar trade, if you're in the DXY trade, if you were in many of the forecasts that we were looking at last week, you would have bagged a pretty healthy profit. Okay, now same thing on how I kind of forecasted DXY, right? A lot of it had to do with the Elliott structure, the similar kind of Elliott structure that I noticed over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, Same kind of edit structure. So if we are forecasting a drop, because DXY and euro dollar are negatively correlated, right? So if one goes up, the other goes down, one goes down, the other goes up. Okay, I guess the key thing to take note of for euro dollar is that, no, for DXY is that price is bouncing from this level. Price is bouncing from this level, right? No kidding, right? It'd be easier if it had just had a breakout, right? If it had a breakout, it'd be easier to call the move right now. But it did not have that breakout, so it is right on this support. Let me check the higher time frame. Hi. It is bouncing off the 100% projection very nicely. Shoots. You can see a very nice 100% projection, right, where DXY is bouncing off. Right, that to me is always a sign that we could be this 100% projection, right? Not so much the 50%, right? 50%, 61. Yeah, it looks like price is bouncing off the 100% projection. Yeah, that's right, Diana. Right. Pound CAD, I'll try to take a look at it in a bit, right? I'll try to take a look at Pound CAD in a bit, right? So, oh man. So that's the thing about the news, right? You know, technicals, personally, I feel sometimes are able to forecast the news, the movements of the currencies even better, right? So a lot of people who were trading purely on the fundamentals last week did not do well, right? They did not do well because, you know, it's a really strong news event, right? Suddenly, you know, markets are not behaving the way they are supposed to behave. But with technicals, you can always tell something different, right? Which is what I like about it, right? If I were to highlight the key levels, it's not that clear. Yeah, the first thing I'm going to tell you is not that clear. I wish this movement was slightly clearer. Nope, that is the first resistance. This is the second resistance. I mean, so if DXY is showing such strong movement over here, right? That means if we are expecting a bounce on DXY to this level, that means euro dollar should be reversing from this level to this level over here, right? And if it breaks that level, the equivalent level on euro dollar would be down here, about down here as a key support level, as a second support level. So keep a lookout on this, right? I do think, right, we might see DXY strength at least for this week, right? So you might be seeing USD strength for this week. Let me see. Oops, sorry. We might be expecting the dollar strength for this week. What we did highlight is dollar franc, right? If you look closely on dollar franc, we forecasted for dollar franc to reverse from 0.9086, right? Is this in HD, right? Yeah, this is in HD, right? We forecasted to reverse from 90.86 all the way down to 8922. All right, so for dollar franc last week, as you can see, it worked out very nicely, right? We 8922 down here, right? We forecasted for it to drop all the way down to our support after it managed to break out from this level, right? Let's see, right? We forecasted a drop, and price really did drop very nicely right? Price dropped really nicely. It in fact bounced off our intermediate support, as you can see. It bounced off our intermediate support at 90.23. 90.23 over here, right? It bounced off our intermediate support, dropped all the way down to our target, right? It's sniper trade. I like to call it a sniper trade, you know, very, very accurate bounce and very, very accurate drop as forecasted, right? So good money there, right? I'm not lying to you guys, right? I mean, this was the recorded analysis that we did last week on the 9th of April, right? So I can't really run away from the forecast, right? So yeah, you know, it worked out very nicely. And now we need to ask ourselves, you know, what are we gonna do this week? What are we gonna do this week? One thing I'm a little bit wary about for dollar franc, right? Because we were using dollar franc as a leading indicator, a leading chart last week. It does look like, you know, it's seeing a little bit of a bounce over here. Nice price rejection from here. Right, nice price rejection from here. No, chaos. I am actually gonna forecast that it's gonna make a small recovery, because if we are expecting DXY to bounce a bit, we could be expecting dollar franc to just bounce that little bit, right? As you can see, you know, I mean, if it does break this level, the next key level it can go down to is probably all the way down here, right? But this price action over here is kind of freaking me out a bit. How did price bounce from there? I need to know. Could it be a 61.8 projection all the way down? I think it could be a 61.8 projection. I don't know, 61.8 projection is further down. What could happen? For the rest of this week, right? For the rest of this week, if price is able to close above this level, watch for a recovery, right? Watch for, I'm going to highlight this area here as the area to look out for, okay? Slightly tricky. This move is slightly tricky, right? It uses a lot of correlation, right? So I've always taught you guys, right, that sometimes rather almost every time in trading, to avoid the false breakouts, right, to be able to forecast with much higher accuracy, you need to use correlation. Last week, the reason why we were right, we were on the right side on a lot of the calls was because we used correlation, right? We used dollar franc breakout, right? Bearish breakout on dollar franc as the leading indicator on DXY that we are expecting weakness on dollar. And that was how we managed to be on the right side on a lot of the moves, okay? What I'm suspecting might happen is we might see a bounce. We might see a little bit of a bounce on dollar franc. We might see a little bit of a bounce on dollar franc that could take it all the way up to this level over here, right? So it's in line. It is in line with our forecast, right? It is in line with our forecast on dollar strength. Yeah, that little bit of dollar strength for this week. I do think we might see a bounce on it. Okay, now sorry, I keep doing this thing over here. All right, so the next thing we looked at last week, oh, this was euro dollar H4. Oh yeah, so I zoomed in onto H4 because some of you guys requested for the H4 analysis on euro dollar. You can see that ascending support line, price breakout, and make a push up, right? I think we did the same thing over here on the H4 time frame, right? We had this is the H4 time frame. Was it there? Get it there? No, sorry, not this one. Yeah, on the H4 time frame last week, right? You can use the H4 time frame to drill down a little bit more, right? But we did forecast that price would kind of rally up towards this level, right? It has since rallied, but so this is the importance of the Ichimoku cloud. It broke the ascending support, and it still managed to rally up towards this level. Okay, so that was one of the forecasts. And pound dollar on the H4 chart. Oh, did I miss it? Did I miss the pound dollar? Yeah, pound dollar on the H4 chart, we're forecasting a bounce above 1.2425 to go to 2519. Right, so I think it might have worked out nicely. Right, there we go. Yeah, we forecasted, this was a move we forecasted, right, for price to kind of bounce from here up to here. Right, it did not manage to bounce right away. Right, it went down a little bit, but it went up and it kind of hit our target over there, hit a target over here. Since then, it's kind of dropped quite strongly. I'm a little bit wary about this move over here. So let's take a look at pound dollar on the 1 day time frame. Okay, nice that our trade worked out nicely, but on the 1 day time frame, I'm a little bit worried about pound dollar. Okay, so this can form the bias on what we expect on pound CAD too, right? But if the US dollar is going to strengthen, we should be seeing price drop a little bit. Look at Euro Yen. I'll try to take a look at it at Euro Yen in a bit. All right. I'll work through most of the majors first. I might skip Aussie dollar and Kiwi dollar because there's really nothing to look there. But oh man, I'll be a little bit wary about this movement over here because on the smaller term time frame, it could form, right? We could be seeing a pretty nice little kind of double top kind of pattern over here, right? Let me just do some analysis on pound dollar. Oh man, it's finding a little bit of support. I suspect that it's going to break all this and it's going to drop further. If we're expecting strength on DXY, right, pound dollar should be dropping a little bit. I was hoping that you'll be able to take off, but it does not seem like it's able to do a breakout on pound dollar, right? It does not seem like I was able to make that breakout. What did we forecast last week on pound dollar though? No, we only did it on the H4 chart, right? So I guess on pound dollar this week, thing to look out for is that if it breaks this level, we should expect it to drop down to this. This would be my first key support down here. This is my support one over here. Okay, my first support, and this will be my first resistance. No, this is intermediate resistance. If it manages to break above it, right? Zoom in a bit. If it manages to bounce above it, it will continue up to retest these levels. Okay, but watch out for this. You know, we could see a nice little drop towards the 23.45 level, right? And if it breaks that level, sorry, if it breaks that level, the next key level for it, this will be my intermediate support. I'm sorry, this will be my intermediate support. This will be my first key support if it breaks this intermediate support, right? So take note of this, because if it breaks this level, it will form a little bit of a double top, and this would trigger the move down, right, with the exit potential for it to drop all the way down to 21.83. Okay, this is our view on pound dollar. Dollar yen, not much movement, right? Since then we not much movement. Dollar CAD, oh my god, what's so messy. Oh yes, I want to take a quick look at Bitcoin, right? So we last week we forecasted Bitcoin to break above 28,705 and rally towards 32,609, right? So since then, right, I'm proud to say that we were able to forecast the rally on Bitcoin quite nicely, right? So if you were on the right side of that trade, good money to be made. I mean, it still has a pretty high potential for it to rise all the way to this 22,609 level, which I highlight as a key resistance level. Why is a key resistance level? Is because when you go into the weekly time frame, this happens to be a 50% retracement just about there, and also a slightly below 38% retracement. But at least for now, you can see that it's a key overlap resistance over here. Okay, 32,609. All right. Price broke this level. All right, price broke this really nice overlap level. right? And it's rallying quite nicely towards there, as you can see. You know, we managed to call the breakout on Bitcoin quite nicely. I still expect it to continue. Is a little bit of a rally up towards our take profit. But if you want to look for entry, probably look for weakness for it to drop a little bit down to the 29,503 level to play the move up. Okay, so we're still bullish on Bitcoin. We're still bullish on crypto. Okay, still bullish on crypto with a little bit of support over here. Okay, this will be my first support still. This will be my first resistance. Okay, we did forecast for Ethereum. Yes, I'll be touching gold right after this. All right, so for Ethereum, we forecasted a bounce from 1840 all the way to 2027, right? So let's see. Worked out very nicely. We forecasted a bounce from 1840 to rise to the 2027, 2031 level. Price has hit our target, right? Made a good amount of cash there, right? So now that it's broken this level, we should expect it to continue its rally. With the key danger to watch out over here, right? Yeah, the key danger to watch out over here for Ethereum is that it's testing the key 2155 level, which is spooking me out a bit. All right, 50% retracement and 50% retracement. Yeah, this is spooking me out a bit. Right, big level to watch out for over here. Big level to watch out for. A little bit wary that price might not be able to break this level. Oh man, yeah, it's a big level. Let's see what happens with Ethereum, right? It's in between nice support and nice resistance over here. So you could just see that little bit of a push up, right, for Ethereum to take it to if gold is no if this will be my resistance. Yeah, if Bitcoin continues going up, then it should be able to continue going up here. But I need to highlight this level for you guys, right? It's a big risk level for us to watch out, right? If it breaks this, expect it to rise up towards this level, right? Expect it to rise up towards the second resistance. But if it doesn't, right? If it doesn't and it reverses, the next key support that you can watch out for Ethereum, for anyone who's trading it, right, is probably down at the, this is the 23. Back down to 23% retracement over here, right? Big moves that we can be expecting on the crypto front. Okay, big moves. Now let's go to gold because we've got a lot of requests for gold. Gold, I'm still bullish on gold, right? So last week we forecasted for gold to bounce off 2000, right? It did bounce off 2000 quite nicely, right? If you can yeah, gold, we forecasted for bounce above 2000 to go towards 2070. It did make the initial bounce, right? You can see it bounced off this level. It went up to 2050 and is back down here. Okay. I still think, because if you look closely on gold, right, this is a key level for it to go out to. This is a magnetic level, and I expect price to really come up to here, right? You can see that it's a magnetic level. You know, price continues to be attracted to this level. This one just falls a little bit short, so I am expecting, right, price to kind of inch up towards the 2070 level. Right now, it's probably trying to catch everyone out. You know, everyone's a little bit worried, expecting it to go down, right? But what's likely going to happen is for it to rise up and test the 2074 level. Okay, so for gold, we can expect it to strengthen towards this level. I think on the 1 day time frame, it continues to have a little bit of bullish momentum, right? Yes, definitely above this level. We should continue to see prices push up. Let me see. Let me just. Yep, it failed to break the 23% retracement, right? So the 23% retracement is the first retracement level that needs to be broken to trigger a move down. Usually the move down would go all the way down to 38%. right down here. Okay, so it's good to see that price failed to break the 23% retracement, because if it fails to break the 23% retracement, it gives us indication that we should be expecting a nice little bit of a rally towards this level. Okay, we should be expecting a bit of a rally towards 2074. Just keep a lookout for it, right? That there's going to be intermediate resistance over here. Price failed to break this level previously, but I am bullish, right? I am bullish on gold, so we can hopefully expect it to rise up towards 2074. Okay. Oil. The thing to take note about oil is that key level has been broken, right? It is unlikely to go down and fill this gap now. Okay, it looks like this key level has more or less been I would like to say it looks like it might be breaking that level, right? So we might not see oil come down to test these levels, by the way, to fill this gap over here. Instead, what might happen is that oil might continue to rally, right? Oil might continue to rally, and it might rally towards this resistance level over here. Okay, so this is now our first support, right? I think oil continuously tried to break, but now we might be seeing the first support over here, and might be seeing a rally in oil prices to go all the way up to 92 levels. All right, I don't think it might not happen in this entire week, right? Let me just check something. Yeah, the Fibonacci's are a little bit crap over here. Yeah, we can expect probably oil to rally towards these levels, right? That will be I know in the recent wars, right, that occur in us, fundamentally, right, there's a little bit of oil shortage, so we should be able to see oil strengthen towards the level. Okay. Diana is saying gold is correlated with USD. So apparently, gold is not that correlated with USD if you think about it. In theory, a lot of people think gold is correlated with USD. So we like to look at correlation coefficient, right? And this correlation coefficient, let me just pull up DXY over here, right? If it was correlated, right? If it was correlated, you notice that you see this chart over here, you can tell that there is not much of a movement, right? You can tell it's not much of a movement, right? There is a little bit of negative correlation over here, but if you compare this correlation, DXY of euro dollar, right, this is what we mean by a strong negative correlation, right? It is very close to -1, right? If you look at dollar franc, right, it's very close to +1, right? But with gold, it kind of just fluctuates, a little bit, goes to 0, goes all the way up to 1, right? Look at this correlation. This is not a very strong negative correlation that we can trust at the moment, right? That is why I'm not letting my view on DXY affect my view on gold that much. I hope this helps you understand what we're looking at for gold and DXY, right? Yeah, so yeah, I usually look at this correlation coefficient. The closer it is, clearly the stronger it is, right? As you can see, a perfect correlation, DXY and DXY is a perfect 1, right? Euro dollar and DXY are very, very strongly negatively correlated. So look at the chart, right? It's almost always at there, right? Then you look at dollar franc, it's very strong, right? It rarely ever goes down to the negative region, right? But then when it comes to gold, right, it's a little bit haywire. It tends to fluctuate in between everywhere. So not that strong a correlation, I would say. Okay, so we got the view on gold, right? I see that we had some requests for pound CAD. Let me just take a quick look at pound CAD. What we can expect for pound CAD. I'm expecting oh shoots, man. Let me look at the forward charts. pound CAD, I'll keep a lookout for this level. You know, if it breaks this level, Watson, gold has an intermediate resistance at 2047, not 2027, right? 2047. Okay. I would say it's a little bit of a pretty strong support now, but I need to take note of here because yeah, this is a little bit tricky, a little bit tricky. Yeah, it's a little bit tricky. Well, this support level, this trend line seems to stretch pretty far back. Okay, this trend line tends to stretch pretty far back, so I will be a little bit wary, right? You know, if you fine tune the trend line, you might be able to catch this level there directly, right? But you need to watch this level. If it breaks this, it breaks the 6584 level, you know, we can expect a short-term reversal if it breaks this level to come down to here. But first, watch out for that level, right? This could be a move for the next few days, right? So my trigger point is, yeah, watch out for this level. If it bounce, right? If it bounce from here quite nicely, the key level to look out for will be over here. This will be the level I will play the resistance to. So watch out for this level, right? If it breaks this level, it will trigger down. But if it's able to hold above this level quite nicely, the level which I'm probably going to look for it to rise to is 6695. All right. NASDAQ, all right, let's take a quick look at NASDAQ. So for NASDAQ, last week on NASDAQ, right, we did forecast for NASDAQ to bounce above the 12905 level to reach the 13659. I'm not sure how that turned out. It might have turned out okay. Yeah, we were forecasting above the 12905, which is about here. Yeah, we are forecasting a bounce for it to rise towards here. Is it 13240? Did we forecast? No, 13659, a little bit further up. This was the 4-hour chart. Was that on the 4-hour chart? No, yeah, we were forecasting for it to go up to here, right? It has bounced, right? It bounced above the 12905 level very, very nicely, as you can see over here, right? So we forecast the bounce. It has bounced, right? So the bounce that happened was over here, quite nicely, as you can see, right? The bounce was above the 12905, and it did bounce quite nicely. Now, what can we expect this week? This level was a key level, right? I really, really like this key level. I think for NASDAQ, we'll continue to see bullishness on NASDAQ. We should continue to see rise up, right? For NASDAQ, small little intermediate resistance to watch out for, right? Small intermediate resistance to watch out for over here, right? Yeah, small little intermediate resistance to watch out for over here. But I still think NASDAQ will continue to rise up. Will continue to rise up towards the 13667 level. Okay, it really broke a key level over here at 12875, so we should be able to see it rise up quite nicely. Okay, that's my view on NASDAQ. I know there was a request earlier today on Euro Yen, US 30 Euro Yen. Okay, Dow Jones 30, right? So if I'm expecting a little bit of bullishness on NASDAQ, right? I think Dow Jones, we should expect a little bit of bullishness too. Dow Jones Industrial Index. We did forecast for Dow Jones to break above this level, 33524, to go up a little bit more, right? It did break above this 33524 level. It is rising, right? But the problem with the potential for this is that the potential for Dow Jones is a lot less, right? I don't see as nice a move, right? I don't see as nice a move as the other setups, right? In fact, US30 looks a little bit crappy, a little bit messy, right? It does. If you have to pick between a few of the indices to trade, I do think the setup on NASDAQ is a lot cleaner, right? The setup on US30, the Dow Jones, is just not as clean as the rest of them, right? Yeah, it's just not as clean as the rest of them. We still expect a push up, but the movement on Dow Jones 30 is not as clean, right? S&P is slightly cleaner. You want to watch out for this resistance, okay? You definitely want to watch out for this resistance. If price is able to break above it, we can see a nice little rally towards the second resistance, okay? I think we forecasted the bounce on the S&P 500 quite well last week, right? S&P 500, we are forecasting it to bounce above 4067 to reach 4177. 4067 was over here. So it bounced from the 4067 level and it reached our target at 4147. So profit target reached for there, right? What I noticed is that US 500, right, the NASDAQ, right, Dow Jones, they are all pretty close to resistance levels. Okay, so we need to be a little bit careful, right? If price is able to break above this level, then we can see a push up towards the 4319. So definitely a big risk level to watch out for, right? A lot of the trades are on key turning points, right? A lot of the trades are on key turning points for us to take note of. All right. Frank Yen, maybe this might be my oh, I don't have Frank Yen over here. Frank Yen, what an interesting chart you're asking me to look at. Frank Yen, eh? Very limited upside potential on Frank Yen, right? So I think Frank Yen, what we need to look out for is this reverse Nike tick. It is touching the 127 level. Very limited upside. Fibonacci expansion, negative 27 is over there. Fibonacci projection. Okay, what I think might happen is that there's a lot of Fibonacci confluence up here, so there's a pretty decent chance Frank Yen might go up there, right? But I will look for the support. I look to buy on weakness, right, and wait for the pullback to this level, right? Wait for the pullback to this level to play the bounce and to play the bounce up to this level over here. A lot of there's a negative 27, there's a 100% projection all the way up to here. So wait for the weakness, right? So definitely wait for the weakness, right? Price will come down before you can play the bounce. Okay. I used to give us interim levels some months ago on fundamental. It rallied on those levels, but now no more. It's okay. Watson, I don't fully understand what you are. Oh yeah, I was saying. It seems like I'm trying to tell a joke, but I'm not sure. Euro yen. All right, let's take a look at Euro yen. Probably a last chart that we're gonna look at. Yeah, Euro yen. Same thing on Euro yen, right? Looks like the yen pairs, Franc yen, Euro yen, very limited upside potential, right? Same thing, right? Same thing. If it's 127 from here, I'll look to sell from here, right? Euro yen, I will look to sell on the 127, right? It's a pretty nice level, right? It's a pretty nice level, very nice clear Nike tick that comes up to here, that lines up with here, okay? So I'll probably be looking a lot more at the at 127 to play the reversal from there. Okay, yeah, I'll be looking to play the reversal on Euro yen down to the support level. Very nice Nike tick level, lining up to here. All right, lining up to here, play the reversal down to here. Bluebird, I did take a look at gold already. We are forecasting for gold to rise up further, right? So you can rewind the charts, the analysis a bit to find our analysis on gold. Okay, guys. Now I do have a quick request from that I would like to send to you guys, right? Please check it out. Yeah, I just sent you guys a link. It's to a SurveyMonkey link. So it is. Please help me fill it up. It's to rate the it's to rate the webinars that you've been getting from me. Usually the pre-market analysis webinars. Rating, but also feedback. So what you would like to see more of, right? This is an easier way for us to collect it instead of asking you to send it in this chat section, right? So we've already changed it to have a little bit more forecast. That means we'll try to put out a forecast on where the markets are heading. Of course, you know, it's educational, right? It's not meant to be investment or trading advice, right? You know the quality of my analysis. I've shown you a lot of the previous analysis that we did, right? You can go through the timestamps of them, right? We tend to have a pretty good hit rate with our analysis. I think last week we got close to 80 or 90% hit rates on a lot of our forecasts, right? So do check it out, right? Do check it out. Please help me leave a review, right? At that level. And if you're okay with it, you know, IC Markets marketing team could also feature your review if you don't mind, right? And there's also a part there for you to suggest what else you want to see in future webinars, right? Feel free to let me know if you want the pre-market series to focus a little bit more on the 4-hour charts. Even on the 1-hour charts, I will be able to take that feedback and I'll be able to take that feedback and help you guys with it. All right. I do hope you found today's session useful, right? Key thing to note is that DXY is on a key turning point, right? I think we have been forecasting DXY's movement correctly for the past like 4 or 5 weeks, right? It's been working out quite nicely, and I expect it to bounce from this level. Okay. My son is fine, right? My son is fine. Let me see if I got a recent picture of my son. Because so many. I think we were trying to. Where is it? Yeah, it's a. Can I save this photo? Right, let me see if I have it here. Yeah. Thanks for asking. Yeah, it's. Yeah, there you go. We're trying to feed him like noodles recently, right? And you can see he's trying to eat all his noodles over there. Super cute stuff, right? Super cute stuff. But yeah, it's my son is fine, right? Thanks for asking, right? Yeah, he's doing quite well, right? Growing really too fast, right? Recently he just started walking, right? Yeah, he recently just started walking. So let me see if I can save this thing over here, right? Sorry, I'm just sharing a little bit more than you guys can tune out if you don't want to, right? But yeah, recently he was walking quite nicely, right? So you can see, yeah, he took his first steps last week, right? So you can see he's walking over. Yeah, he took his first steps last week. This week or last week, I can't remember. But yeah, it's doing quite well. Right, thanks for asking. No worries. Yeah, Nick, you missed the session, man. I was looking out for you, right? Thank you, Diana. Right. Yeah, Nick. Yeah, for all future webinars, remember, guys, we have moved it 1 hour earlier. Right. Our webinar sessions are 1 hour earlier. Right. This has been a request for you guys, right, to have the session slightly earlier so that it's right before the market opens. Yeah, that means it's 4 a.m. here in Singapore. It just ended at 5 a.m. Right. So some of you guys might have missed it. Right. Just remember to tune it 1 hour earlier. But you can rewind and watch the previous the entire session. Okay. Yeah, Nick, no worries, man, no worries. You can still catch Peggy, who will be holding the live analysis session 1 hour from now, 1.5 hours from now, right? So go tune in for that, all right? Leaving Forex, right? I do not use volume profile. I think volume, you can probably use volume profile on the futures market for Forex, but not so much on the volume that you're getting on with brokers, because the volume that you get on a specific broker is not reflective of the entire market. If you use it on the futures market, you could use it quite well, but I have not been able. I haven't been using that, right. Thank you, Watson. Right. So Nick, yeah, I am pondering if I should go back to sleep. Right? Yeah, I'll probably go back to sleep after this, right? Yeah, it's a little bit tiring time, but yeah, Nick, I was just sending a link to everyone. Go check it out, right? Please, if you can, guys, right? Leave a review there, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars, depending on how well you find it. Some feedback, what you like about the webinar, what you think you would like to see more of, right? And if you're okay with IC Markets, featuring your reviews on their social media profiles, right? Just it's the one little request I have from you guys. We're trying to up our game with the webinars, right? We are trying to up our game with the webinars, right? Bring you guys more quality, right? I have been putting my neck out for a lot more of the trades, the forecasts, right? So you can notice that at the end of each analysis, I tend to try to forecast at least a direction, right? And yeah, hopefully it works out quite well. Last week, we caught the bounce, the rally on Ethereum, we caught the rally on Bitcoin, we caught DXY dropping, we were able to see euro dollar rising, dollar franc dropping very nicely. So you want the timestamps, right? Go to the previous last week's analysis. I'm going to send it to you guys over here. Go check it out. This was last week's analysis. This was last week's analysis, right? I think you just need to click on the timestamps below. A lot of our trades worked out pretty nicely. All right. Now, that's it for me, guys. Thank you for tuning in for today's session. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me, right, before the market opens, right? Some is either really late or really early, wherever you guys are, right? So, yep. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for tuning in, right? Even if you're not an IC Markets client, you can leave the survey, right? You can leave your feedback on the survey, so don't worry about that, okay? Thank you very much, guys. Let's have a good trading week ahead, right? Remember to tune in to Peggy's, right, webinar, which is happening in 12.5 hours, right? And I believe this will be the link. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I really appreciate it. All right. Please tune in to Peggy's webinar about 12.5 hours. All right, guys. Thank you. Stay safe. Trade safe, guys. All right. I'll catch you guys another time, right? Throughout the week. All right. Yeah. Have a great week, guys. Have a great week. Stay safe. Trade safe. Peace out. See you guys. Bye-bye.